We're here today with the proprietor of Negba, Rabbi Rottenberg. What can you tell us about Negba? How did it start? And tell us a little bit about your company.
Negba bus was started approximately 4.5 years ago for the simple reason the way it started was I was very involved in Yeshiva Teres Chaim, and we didn't have busing from the township because no one wanted to pick up our runs at early morning and late at night, and we were hiring all different type of companies that were very expensive, and I decided to do the busing myself. I bought some buses, and that's how Negba really came into my mind. After that, it just grew as a company, which the matara was, the main purpose was to try to have frum drivers transporting our children, which unfortunately didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, because it's very, very hard to get frum drivers. But if they are available, we're more than happy to hire them.
Recently, there's been quite a few complaints about buses not showing up, delays, kids waiting outside, mothers waiting outside with their children at the bus stops. What's the root of, no pun intended, of all these delays and the no-show buses?
Okay, the main problem was a shortage of busing, but let me say very strongly, it's not because I don't own the amount of buses, it's because first of all, in the beginning of September, somebody came and smashed around 10 of my windshields one night, so that put 10 buses out for 2 days. Then I had a sting from the Department of Motor Vehicles that put out 20 buses. And then now, at the end of December, I don't want to bore everybody with details, but the inspections work twice a year. The Department of Transportation comes down to you. There is no inspection station for buses. They come down to you and they give you a date when they're going to inspect your buses. They do around 10 buses a day. That means they gave us the last 2 weeks of December to do our buses, which is our scheduled time. They tell you this already in the summer when our next inspection is. Everybody knows the last week of December was the major snowstorm that left me around 40 buses uninspected, which really cannot be used. As of now, they only made up, out of those 5 days, they only gave us back 3 days. So really, we're still out around 10 or 12 buses, which as of this past Friday, did an inspection, and after that Friday, right now, starting this week, I have enough buses to cover every single run, and I myself am supervising it. I don't have extras because I still have 10 buses or 12 buses not inspected, but I have a bus to cover every single run. I myself am up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the yard this week, make sure every bus gets out. I'm happy to say that Tuesday and Wednesday, well now it's only Wednesday afternoon, but Tuesday, the whole day, and Wednesday morning, there was not one late bus, besides for the snow, which made us come a few minutes late to each run, but we left the yard on time. Every single run was covered on time. And in the times that we did not have buses, I leased as many buses as I can. I paid maybe for these 2 weeks, maybe $15,000 or $20,000 to other companies to cover our runs, to lease buses, to do whatever we can. There is a limited amount of buses that are out to be leased on any given morning. No one sits around with 100 extra buses. So I did our best. I would like to apologize for the kids that were waiting out in the cold. I wouldn't like if it happened to my child. But I think now we're past this inspection issue, and I think from here on in, we could run a perfect company.
And now what about the complaints from parents? They say, that they're waiting at the bus and they try to call the office and nobody's getting through, people are not responding, it's a busy signal, they can't get through to the office. What's going on with that?
We have 3 lines coming into the office, and so we have 2 people here in the morning answering 3 lines, which should be adequate. You have to realize there's 54 children on a bus, approximately, or 40, up to 54, and if even 10 parents call at the same time because the child is waiting on the corner, it could tie up our lines in no time. And sometimes the mother calls and says, "Where's my bus?" And the dispatch says, "Hold on a minute, I'll get the driver on the radio." Such a call could take 3-4 minutes. If you have a few of those calls, and crunch time is, everybody's crunch time is between 8:15 and 9. On a bad day, we could have 100 calls coming in. This morning, I myself, after I finished with the yard, I came into the office to help with the phones. It was impossible. The second you hang up, another few, is there busing today? Is there early dismissal? There's 1,000 calls. We were just answering straight. So we do apologize, but I don't know what more to do than 3 or 4 lines coming in here with 3 people answering it. Should be adequate, and if it's busy, I apologize, and they should keep trying, and eventually I hope they'll get through.
And what about notifying principals or, people at the school about the delays? Is that
I would gladly do it. The official directive we have from the Board of Education is to contact them, and they will contact the school, which is what we do. If the board would tell us otherwise, or if the principal would have my cell phone number, which most of them do, or my dispatcher's cell phone number, and they get through, we would tell them then also. But our directive is, if we have a problem, chas v'shalom, an accident, or we're late, we call the Board of Ed. That's if it's an accident, it's the police and the Board of Ed. If it's late or something else, it's the Board of Ed, not the school.
Now, what do you propose to generally improve to improve matters and to improve the bus company and to satisfy the parents?
We have the equipment we have the drivers, we have the manpower, we have everything. What I'm seeing now that when I started this company, I started it for a hobby really. I wasn't intended to get involved full time. Believe me, from last week on, I am involved full time. If it has to be fixing a flat tire and no one else is doing it, I will do it. But I'm out this week, 5 o'clock, I'm every morning in the yard, as long as it takes, whatever it takes. I myself am going to take a personal hand on top of it. And Be'ez Hashem will be perfect from now on, I hope.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.